All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's going on, everybody? Hebrewcheetah here. Going to give you an early look at the Week 2 NFL DFS slate. Hope that everybody had a successful Week 1. I know that we had some big winners in our Discord over here. So we had somebody ship for over 200K. I believe he won 2 live final seats. Had, I believe, multiple 5-figure winners. Had our guy Titletown win a King of the Desert seat last night in the Bills-Jets game, so shout out to him. Basically what I want to get accomplished with this show is to just kind of give you guys a early look, what I'm seeing from a DraftKings perspective, look at some team totals, see if we can find some games we want to attack. With that being said, let's get into it. First game on the board here, we got Green Bay versus Atlanta. It's looking like going to be a slow-paced game, only a 40.5 game total here. Not too excited about any of the pass catchers in this game. Really wish that Atlanta had a different plan of attack in terms of their offense. Just refuse to throw the ball a bunch, even though they have some really talented guys on that side of the ball. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this running back situation pans out the whole year. Algier outtouched Bijan in the first week, and I doubt that's going to be a sign of things to come. I think it's just the way that the game flow worked. I mean, obviously, when you spend first-round draft capital on a running back that high, you kind of expect him to get a lot of work right away. But, it seems like they're just easing him in since it's his first game. But, yeah, he looks like their best receiving option right now. So I think he's someone we can go to this week. He's got a 7,900 price tag. I feel like he has some upside there. Maybe, we see a 15, 20 touch game for him. And in that case, I think he could really have a big game. One thing you got to keep an eye on is Aaron Jones is questionable right now. I saw him leave the game late last week. It looked like it might have just been a cramping thing. They said hamstring, I believe. So definitely want to keep an eye on that. They did price up A.J. Dillon to 5,900, but I still think if Aaron Jones were to miss, you really can't overlook that. He probably would be pretty popular at that price, but yeah, he's a good running back, so I'd be looking at him. That's pretty much it for me. If you want to go to the defenses, they're 3K and 2,900 respectively, so wouldn't mind that. Next game on the board, we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus Buffalo Bills. Looking at a 47-point game total here. Bills favored by 8.5, so people were expecting a bounce back, and that's what I'm expecting too. I mean, got to give it up to the Jets defense. They just had the right game plan for Josh Allen, made him turn over 4 times that game. So I don't want to look too closely into that. I just think that he's a lot better than what he showed last night. So if ownership's in check right now, I'm seeing early ownership at around 20% for him and Diggs, which would be pretty high. You gotta hope that Vegas can keep it close there. But yeah, I'd want to go right back to Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. The good thing about stacking up Josh Allen is that the targets are really condensed around a few people, so you don't have to really go like dumpster diving for some guys. I mean, Dalton Kincaid, stud tight end. He looked pretty good in his first game. He got 4 catches. He's only 3,300, so if you want to get a double stack there, wouldn't mind that. I think there'll be enough value for you to get up to Devontae Adams too. But I don't want to overlook what Breece Hall did to the Buffalo run defense. So I'd be kind of interested in going after Josh Jacobs too. I mean, he's obviously not as bursty as Breece Hall, but the volume's going to be there for him. There's really nobody to compete with. They don't have a Dalvin Cook on their team, so he could just get there just off of volume and efficiency. So yeah, I don't mind this game here as a little game stack. Let's go to the next game. Baltimore and Cincy. You got a divisional game. 46-point total. I want to be in on this game as a full stack, but I just don't. I don't think I'm gonna get there right now. I just kind of want to see Joe Burrow get back to form yet before I take the chance on him. And these divisional games usually are more grinded out, like defensive battles. So I don't know if I'm gonna get there this week. I do think you gotta look at Jamar Chase. I mean, even though I'm not super big on this game from an offensive standpoint, he's always live to bust off a few big plays, and hopefully his ownership comes down a little bit. Looking at 18 right now, but I think things could change throughout the week. I'd be looking at him. Joe Mixon's got a good price too, 6,500. Would not mind him there. And then I'm just gonna let everybody else chase these running backs. I mean, you look at what Justice Hill did. He had like 9 rush attempts, got like 8 yards, or maybe it was vice versa, but he had 2 touchdowns. So if he's going to get some ownership right now, I don't see much on him, but we'll see what happens towards the end of the week. I'm not excited about him. He's been a backup his whole career. I would be more excited about Gus Edwards, but I'm not going to get there. Zay Flowers still has a good price tag, and even though he had a low A dot, he got a bunch of targets, a bunch of catches, got really good run after catch ability. So if you are looking to game stack this, I would look towards him. And then got to keep an eye on Mark Andrews. I would anticipate he's coming back based off of what I heard, but if he doesn't, I'm fine going back to Isaiah Likely at 3,200, even though he let us down last week. I mean, we all know what he can do. If you watch the preseason last year, if you tuned in towards the end of the year last year where he got a few spot starts, he's good. So he's had 100+ yard upside with multiple touchdowns. So I'll be looking towards him, but I don't think I'm gonna get there on the quarterbacks. So let's move on to the next game. We got Seattle, Detroit. This is a game that's got me a little bit more excited. You got a really good price tag on the quarterbacks at 59 for Geno and 6,200 for Jared Goff. Pretty easy to fit in a double stack and a bring back in this one. DK's price tag is only at 7K. Amon-Ra 7,800, which is a little pricey, but he's priced around Jamar Chase and guys like Jamar. You got AJ Brown up there. Oh, so that's not the slate. CD, Devontae, like Garrett Wilson. So you hope that he kind of gets squeezed a little bit. And in that case, I would like him a lot. I mean, this is the game that won Hoop his Millie last year. I wouldn't expect the same thing, but it's got a pretty solid total at 47 here. I like this game up and down. You can go take a shot on Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, it's tough to listen to coach speak, always saying how excited they were to play him and, we're not going to expect how they're going to use him and all this stuff. And then he's just on the sideline for most of the game. I'm just hoping that was a one-time thing. It was just kind of getting his feet wet in the NFL, and hopefully his role increases each week. I mean, everybody saw how good he can be. He's super elusive, got breakaway speed. He was really close to getting a touchdown. Everybody might have a different outlook on him if he scored that touchdown. So you can go back to him. Lockett's only 6,100. I don't think I like Kenneth Walker much. He is pretty cheap at 5,800. He does have pretty big upside. But you got David Montgomery right behind him with looking like a pretty good projection right now, 15.5. And then if you're looking to stack the Goff side of it, Sam Laporta is only 3,900. Another good rookie tight end. He had a pretty good showing his first game, so I would look at him. And then they have some cheap receivers on the Detroit side too, with Josh Reynolds, who had a good game. I believe he was on the Showdown Shipper week 1. I'm not playing Dusty Marvin Jones. Khalif Raymond doesn't really get enough touches there. Not touching Noah Fant. So it's pretty condensed. That's what I'll be looking at there. Indy and Houston, this one is kind of interesting to me, which is kind of gross to say because they're two bad teams. But if you look at the price tags up and down, it looks pretty good. I mean, Anthony Richardson is a little banged up right now. I think he'll be okay. They said he was fine to come back into the game when Brissett came back out. I believe it's Brissett that's behind him. So yeah, I think he'll be okay. He's going to be their their red zone goal line running back essentially. I mean, the guy's huge and super athletic. And him and Pittman seem to have a pretty good connection. I mean, Pittman had 11 targets, pretty big game, was about 3-4 yards away from getting the 100-yard bonus too. So he could have had a massive week. I mean, he had a really good week even without that. But Dameon Pierce, this one's a little tricky because I believe they used 3 running backs in that game, and maybe it's just because just the game flow and everything. I still think he's going to be their workhorse, but gotta be a little cautious about that. He does have a pretty good projection right now, I'm seeing 16.4 with pretty modest ownership, around 11%. I'm a little bit more excited about these receivers, mainly Nico Collins. I mean, him and CJ Stroud had a really good connection in the preseason. He's been getting talked up a lot throughout camp. And then he had a good game week 1. Had 11 targets, I believe. Finished with like 14 DraftKings points. So I like him on a bring back. I mean, when you start to talk through it, you're saving a lot of salary by stacking this game, and that kind of allows you to get the big receivers, the big running backs that you want to get to. So I do kind of like that game. So yeah, let's move on to KC and Jacksonville. This one has the highest point total on the week. Obviously, anytime Mahomes is out there, it's going to be looking like that. I want to like the Kansas City side. I mean, obviously, you can always stack Mahomes. The issue is, like, if Kelsey's not there, then who is he really throwing the ball to? It's going to be really hard to pinpoint that every week. I mean, if you're just looking at routes and who is out there the most, and you got MVS and Sky Moore, but the numbers don't really mean much if you can't catch the ball. And Sky Moore just tough outing for him, and that's somebody I was pretty high on coming into the season, hoping that he could turn it around. So you can take a shot on him. He's cheap. He's only 4,100, and then I think Rashee Rice probably deserves more play. He was their best receiver, and he only had a handful of catches, handful of attempts, and he's only 3,800. I'd want to see some more coach speak on him, and maybe they say that he's earned a bigger role before I go running to play him. But yeah, it's looking a little ugly if Mahomes or if Travis Kelce's not going to be there. And on the other side, if you're stacking Mahomes, I mean, you got to look at Calvin Ridley, look at Travis Etienne. They have as big an upside as anybody on the slate. Calvin Ridley had a huge first half and kind of slowed down the second half. Still had a great game. I think he had left a little bit of meat on the bone. So willing to go back to him. He got a little bit of a price bump at 7,200. So I don't mind him. Etienne 6,900. Trevor Lawrence 6,700. I don't know about Evan Ingram that much. I'd rather just pay down if I'm looking there. Zay Jones, 4,700. He was out there in 2 wide receiver sets over Christian Kirk. So if you want a double stack, then there's your guy. So yeah, that's what I'll be looking at for this game. Chicago, Tampa, definitely going to be fading the passing attack here. Just Fields is not a good thrower of the football right now. Obviously has the upside with his legs. So if you want to just play him naked, no receivers, no tight ends or anything like that, you can do that with him. Me personally, I won't be doing that. I want to double stack my quarterbacks most of the time. So yeah, I'll be off the passing attack. And the running backs it's looking like a 3-headed running back committee. Maybe it was just because of the blowout. They got Roshan Johnson in there a little bit late. He had a pretty solid outing, but yeah, I'm just kind of off of the Bears offense right now. For Tampa, same thing. I mean, you can talk me into Rachaad White. I'm a big fan of his, like his game. Didn't have that good of an outing against Minnesota, but if you look at what Aaron Jones just did to this Chicago team, he tore them up in the air, on the ground, everywhere. He was just having his way with them. So I wouldn't mind him. He's got a really, really good price tag at 5.5. He'd probably be my favorite play in this game. So yeah, you could go to the defenses if you want to. Looks like Bucks looking like they have a pretty solid projection right now. So that's where I'm at for this game. Let's go to the Chargers in Tennessee. We are looking at a 45, 46.5 total. I think this one kind of has some sneaky shootout potential. The Chargers just play with such a fast pace that you kind of just have to play their game. If the running attack is on, which it was against Miami, I mean, they look pretty dangerous. I want to see Justin Herbert sling it a little bit more because I mean, I was pretty heavily invested into Mike Williams, like I'm sure a lot of everybody else was in the DFS industry. You know, he came out for a bit, came back, only had a couple catches, so it was kind of a letdown. But you know, hopefully he can have a bounce back game this week. But yes, I do like the Tennessee receivers. DeAndre Hopkins was the guy for Tannehill last week. Demanded pretty much every throw that Tannehill had, and we know what kind of upside he has. He is aging. He's on his way, I think, on the back end of his prime. So, but I think he still has some games in him. I'm pretty excited about Treylon Burks this year. I know he didn't get a ton of looks last game, but you know, he's got the AJ Brown prototype where he's got, you know, big body receiver, good run after catch ability. So I like him at 4-5. And then on the Chargers side, we gotta keep an eye on Eckler. He did miss, or I think they said he was dealing with an ankle injury. Hopefully it's not too serious, but you know, if he's forced to miss, then you got Josh Kelly at 5K. He'd be pretty high owned, but I mean, he's a serviceable backup running back. So I do like him if Eckler's out. So that's what I'm gonna be looking at for this game. Giants, Arizona. This one could be pretty gross, but you can, I guess, if you want to look at what the Giants just did, where they just got demolished by the Cowboys, you can go to the Arizona defense. Wouldn't fault you for that. They did have a touchdown last week and actually outscored the Commanders, who everybody was on. So that was a nice little sharp pivot there. Yeah, I just don't think you can really comfortably stack anybody with Daniel Jones right now. I mean, they were running out a handful of receivers, none of them really separated amongst the crowd. Yeah, I don't really feel confident in stacking anybody on that. If you were to choose somebody, it probably would be Darren Waller. He's their most talented pass catcher, but I'd more so be looking to the Saquon Barkley side. I think he had a down game versus Dallas, which is nothing to be upset about. Dallas is a really good defense. So you can go there. I think he's got good volume, and he could have a good, efficient game and just get there in multiple ways. So I like him. Not super excited about anybody on Arizona. Although these receivers do have pretty good price tags. If you were looking to stack it, Marquise Brown is only 4,900. Rondale Moore, 4K. Michael Wilson, who's kind of, he's unknown right now, but he's out there a lot. He's only 3,300, almost mid price. So you can make a case for stacking this game, but that I personally won't be. Moving on to San Francisco and the Rams. Yeah, weird game for the Rams. I'm not sure anybody's really expecting them to go out there and beat Seattle, but I mean, they look pretty good. Obviously, Puka Nacua had a massive game, and I don't think that we can really just overlook that. I don't want to say that Cooper Kupp was a system receiver, but he's a great receiver. He'd be good in any system. But the way that Sean McVay does run his offense, they do have a system in place for receivers of that archetype. And I think Puka Nacua fits that role pretty well. Obviously, I mean, he led the whole league in targets and target share last week. So you can't overlook that. Even at his bumped up price tag, 4,900, I still think there's some upside there for him. The issue is San Francisco's defense is really good. They just shut down Pittsburgh. I do think Stafford's a little bit better than Pickett right now, so he can maybe keep this one close. But yeah, I mean, McCaffrey at 9K, going to be hard to get to. We all know what he can do. He was on the winner last week, I believe. I'm not sure actually if he was, but he had a really good game. And then Brock Purdy didn't really get that big of a price bump. And Ayuk only 58, Debo 56, Kittle 53. So you look at all these pass catchers, they have really good price tags. That's why I do kind of like this one from a game stack perspective. I think that the San Francisco offense is just going to be so efficient this year that they're going to kind of force some teams to try to have to keep up with them. Not sure if they'll be able to with how good that defense is, but I think it's worth taking a shot on if you want to, double stack Purdy and have a little Puka bring back. Wouldn't mind that. Tutu right there at 4,700 also. He's more of the deep threat guy. So I would rather just pick on the volume receiver if I'm going to choose one. And then, yeah, they gave Kyron Williams, it's only 5K. He was a starting running back over Cam Akers. Not really sure. We didn't hear anything about that going into the week. I know some people were on Cam Akers. But yeah, he got the start over Cam pretty much up until the game was about two scores away. They put in Cam Akers to kind of put it away for them. Cam Akers was someone I was kind of high on in best ball going into the season just for this case, in case he did pull away and they went with the younger guys over the vets. So this is going to be a running back group to kind of keep an eye on throughout the season as it progresses. So I don't mind him at 5K. I think it might be a little chasey, but you never know. All right, let's go to the Jets and Dallas game. This one sitting at a 39.5 total, so really low. They're really giving some respect to these defenses, and I do too. I don't really want to pick on either one of these teams, but if I had to choose somebody on the offensive side, I think I'd be on the Dallas side. Pollard has just, as big as upside as anybody in the running back group here. So I like him a little bit at 75. He's got a pretty nice projection right now at 20%. We'll see how that kind of settles when we get closer to Sunday. And I want to like CD because we just saw what Diggs did to them. I just think it's a little bit different where the target tree is a little bit more condensed for Buffalo, whereas Dallas, they have multiple guys at every position that can kind of step up. So I think I'm going to be off of CD. And I will really, really like the Cowboys defense, even at 4K if Zach Wilson's starting. I mean, we all know what he is. He's a turnover machine. Kudos to him for getting the win last night, stepping up for Aaron Rodgers, who, sucks for you Jets fans. But, I hope he gets better quickly. Maybe hopefully he can come back next year healthy. But yeah, when you have a week to prepare for a certain quarterback and then somebody else comes in, it's going to be hard for your defense to kind of like change the game plan. So I think a full week of Dallas game planning for Zach Wilson could be in for a long one. So I like Dallas defense the best in that game. Washington, Denver, I'm completely off of offenses here. Just give me the defenses. That's really all I got to say about that one. And yeah, that's going to pretty much do it here. Yeah, so I'll be looking at this KC Jacksonville game, Indy Houston, Seattle Detroit, and then I'll be looking at the Raiders and the Bills game mainly. So yeah, that is going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys next week. Hopefully we have another successful week over here at SHIPIT Nation. All right, later guys.